Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, the Force is with the readers, and we return to the newspaper strips as we move into 1982 in that particular series. I'm your host, as always, Nathan P. Butler. What we're looking at this time is a newspaper strip story called Deadly Reunion. It went on from November 2nd of 1981 through February 3rd of 1982. Now these days, of course, there are multiple places to find this particular story. One place you can find it, if you're one of those hardcore collectors, as I mentioned before, is in the pages of that Russ Cochran newspaper strip collection, where you'll find it inside Volume 1, beginning on page 133. It's fairly near the end of the book on this one, but it does pick up right here. And you can always tell in these, as I haven't pointed out, I don't think before, because they do have the title up there in the corner as they would have appeared originally in the newspaper run. Now these days, most people are going to be checking this out in the pages of Classic Star Wars. You can find it currently in Volume 1 or In Deadly Pursuit, the first trade paperback of Classic Star Wars, or you can find it in issue number 6. And then, of course, issue number 7. And yes, I'm pausing, not for dramatic effect, but to give the little words at the bottom a chance to pop up and then fade away without you having to go, wait, what? What was that? This picks up around page 7 of issue number 6. You have page number 5 of issue 6, which is actually coming from the newspaper strips for the Serpent Masters. Then we have sort of an unusual page here that is essentially all new material, right here. And then we actually begin the story there at the beginning of page 7. It then carries on into issue number 7, all the way up to them going into hyperspace at the bottom there on page 14. So again, it's another of these stories where the split is not exactly at the end of a given issue to lead into a new story in the next issue. We will see that happen in the near future, kind of by accident it seems, but here, not so much. We should bear in mind also, by the way, that issue number 6 starts normally, straight into the action here, whereas issue number 7 does as well. Now, we might say, well, wait a second, what's the deal with that? That's something important to note, because in the near future, that will change, and they're going to alter the format of Classic Star Wars somewhat, starting with actually the very next issue. So, what is the deal with this story? Deadly Reunion. It's actually a fairly straightforward story here. Luke and Tanith Shire have just left after defeating the Serpent Masters. She's using their one ship that the Serpent Masters still had that did actually work, and is in the process of taking Luke back to the Rebel Alliance, although she's shedding a tear over the whole issue because she kind of likes Luke. They go to the planet Cabal. This is where there's supposed to be this meeting of different rebel factions, and it's where Luke is able to catch up again with Leia as an Imperial strike takes place. It seems that someone has sold them out to the Imperials, though they don't know yet who. They won't know it until a future story here, in the very near future. Instead, what tends to happen is this throws them together in action. Han and Chewbacca come in and save the day, and of course they take off in the Millennium Falcon. They think they're going to go back to Yavin 4, but instead, they've got some damage to the ship that needs to be repaired, and they hear this distress call. They think it's a distress call from a rebel ship, so they wind up going to this sort of junkyard of ships that's orbiting around a collapsing star with this heavy gravitational pull, only to find out, oh, it's not a rebel ship. It's actually, well, as Akbar would say, it's a trap. In this case, it's set by a guy named Dr. Arrakis, and he is this Imperial scientist who was working on this weapons project, and it went wrong. And now, he's dying. He's in a suit to help slow it down, but he's dying, and his last wishes of what he wants to do with the last hours he has left, it's not stay with loved ones, it's not, go do something he's never done before, do a bucket list. Apparently, his bucket list only has one thing in it, and that is kill as many rebels as humanly possible. So he set up this trap with this fake distress signal to lure ships to this collapsing star where they will never escape again. And if someone tries to, he will blow up these charges he's got that will wind up destabilizing everything, and everything starts collapsing even more. Some of the ships get destroyed, etc. It's basically what he thinks of as a foolproof trap. Unfortunately, he didn't plan on running into Han and Luke. And they wind up coming up with a way to escape by basically getting aboard the Millennium Falcon and causing his explosives to explode without Arrakis planning on them exploding, without him actually activating it, so that when they blow up, it gives just enough oomph that the Falcon, being the one ship that's already heading out or trying to and kind of fighting that gravitational pull, will get a boost from that and be able to break free and fly away. The Millennium Falcon escapes, Arrakis is killed, the trap is gone. It's a pretty quick, little straightforward tale, and not one that adds a whole lot to the Star Wars lore overall, other than just introducing Dr. Arrakis, who isn't a character who plays much of a role in anything else. So kind of a quick, easy little newspaper strip story to get Luke out of the Serpent Master situation and get our characters back together again for their next adventure. This really does feel like a basic classic bridging story here in pretty much all respects. So, not much more to say about it. Let's ask our question here. Is this an essential read? And of course the answer is no. Not all that special, not all that necessary. It's just part of the newspaper strips to bridge a couple of other stories. Not much more to say about it. With that then, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the readers.